We have such incredible leadership in this company, and that Lifewave attracts the best of the best. And you certainly are part of that club of awesome, as I like to say. And so we're excited to have you talk with us today. So I know not everyone is here to listen to me ramble on, and they're really here to listen to you and to really be able to learn from your experience. So if you're okay, I'd really like for us to sort of dive into what the topic is that you have been willing to train on today. If you're okay with that, would that be all right?
I'd love to.
Awesome. All right. So talk to us a little bit about what you'll be sharing with us today.
Well, I like to call this talk that I'm going to be giving, I call it the 5 pillars of authenticity: goal setting and taking action. And I'd like to say a little bit about the picture behind me. It's a picture I took while I was swimming with dolphins when I was over living on Maui. And, you know, doing this business, you get to do what you really love and then come back and build. And I got to swim with dolphins, so I like that. So I have a picture behind me of that. So we're going to talk about what I consider to be the key of creating your success. This is the most simple and easy business in the world, but it's incredibly difficult to actually do for most people. It's so simple, but it's hard to do. The best part is that anybody can do this business at any stage of life, with any level of education, anywhere in the world. It often can take, 3 to 4 years to reach the highest levels, but unlike most professional educations, you graduate debt-free, in fact, cash positive, with an international business already in place that can rival the income and freedom of any profession I've ever seen. And I'm the living proof of that. I've done that. And so, it does take being consistent and working hard, but you can really achieve incredible heights of success with doing this. And I like to break it down for everybody so that they can understand it better. And I have it broken down into 2 simple steps. So these steps are, you want to first build your belief. And that's so easy to do because it's a real personal thing. And I like to call it basis of authenticity. And there are 5 pillars that you really have to kind of touch in, and you have to really tune into yourself and know that these are authentically true, and that you're like on a scale of 1 to 10 at a 10 on each one of these 5 pillars that we're going to talk about. And once you get that in place, that's the first step. The second step is setting goals and taking actions.
I love that. I can't wait to hear about these 5 pillars of authenticity. I think setting a foundation is pretty important with anything that we choose to do in our lives. And I can't wait for you to share what all these pillars are about, and then how to take that action with those goals. So let's dive in. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, 5 pillars. Let's hear it.
Okay, the 5 pillars of authenticity. And why I like to call it authenticity is it's getting your personal belief up to a 10 on each one of these. And when you do, once you've accomplished that, you're unstoppable. And so there are 5 things, and they're the cornerstones of any business that you want to build, but it works perfectly with Lifewave. And the first pillar is you have to have your belief level about our product, specifically the X39, at a 10. That's the bottom line. And these are the steps that I recommend that people do. And this is before you start doing a business. Like, many people want to kind of do the cart before the horse, and they want to start building, but they don't have these 5 pillars in place, and somehow their business fails. And then they wonder why. And it's because they didn't really put the foundation together. So we're going to talk about each of the pillars. And the first one is the product, which is X39 patch. And what I like to say is that you really have to do it so that you have your own firsthand personal experience with a product. So you want to order as much product as you can afford. And it's not just yourself, but you want to kind of give it to your friends, your family, and people that you know and care, or other business builders if you know business builders. And you want to get as much product out to as many people as you can, and yourself, so that not only do you find your own personal experience, but you can hear from people that you know personally and trust. Because everyone's going to have a different experience with X39. And what's beautiful is the company offers a 30-day unconditional warranty for anybody who's a distributor, and up to 90 days of a guarantee for the product if you're coming in as just a customer to see it. And you take that time to get your stories and hear other people's stories together. And that's one of the foundations and building blocks of building your business. I like to say that once you get your story, and by the way, the story, Emily, doesn't have to be like I was in a wheelchair and I got up and I started walking. I know one of the most successful people in our business. His story was so simple. It was, I started using the patch, and after a few days, I was sleeping much better every night, and I had more energy, and I just felt happier. That was it. It was so simple. My partner, Lynette, she burned her finger and with steam when she was cooking. It was a steam burn, and she put an X39 patch on it. First, she put it under, on ice and everything, but it kept burning and hurting, and steam burns are really bad. And she put the patch on, and within 2 minutes, it stopped hurting. And then she forgot about it. And the next day she woke up and there was no blister there. That's a beautiful story. I mean, there's so many stories that happen. So don't think that you have to get out of a wheelchair and start walking to have a story. It could be as simple as I slept better. And the key is that you have to learn to tell your story really perfectly after you have your story. You want to be able to get it down to 30 seconds to even a minute to share with many, many people. So that's basically what I like to share about the product, is get to a level of belief of 10, if you can, and then have your story around the product.
Oh, I love that. I think that, having a story is super important. That's something that I hear from many leaders, and I love that you're echoing that as well, because I think until you have that experience in your own story, it's hard to talk about the product. So I love that. I love that.
And it can be a story, too, of one of the people that you gave the patches to. And by the way, you can sell them to them. You don't have to give them for free. But, whatever you're comfortable with, because sometimes you're going to hear a few stories, and you can tell a story of somebody that you're very close to if it's a personal contact, too.
That is very true. Stories are powerful. They really are. And you're right. You can borrow those from people that you know personally as well. They still have a lot of power and impact. So. All right, should we talk a little bit about pillar 2 now?
Absolutely. Pillar number 2. And that's the company and the owner. And we're so lucky, Emily, to have an owner like David Schmidt. He is, inspirational. He's an inspirational speaker. He's an inspirational person. He's a genius. He's invented something, and he's a deeply kind and fair person. That means volumes to me personally. I've been in a lot of companies over the years, especially before, and that's a rare thing to have a leader. We can build so much about David. And so if you don't know David, then go on and watch a lot of his videos. You'll get a personal contact with him. And you really want to have that relationship where you really believe in his vision and who he is as a person. And there's tons of videos on YouTube that people can watch. And the company, watch as many videos as you can. Meet some of the leaders on the corporate level, like yourself, Emily. And, we have so many great corporate people that we work with that are inspirational leaders that are amazing. Jim is always such a wonderful, inspirational person. He's amazing. And if you have to, it's a little harder with COVID-19, but, go down and visit the company or come to the next company event and feel the energy yourself. You really want to be a 10 level on your belief of the company that you're in and the leader and the owner of the company. One other thing I like to talk about is legacy companies. And so Lifewave is a legacy company, and many companies claim we're the next billion-dollar company, we're the next this and that. And what I think is so special about Lifewave and how I look for a legacy company is that it already is. And Lifewave already is a legacy company. That's how you can know. And why that's so important is if you're going to build a business for 3 or 4 years to get it really going, you want to do it with something is going to be around. And if it's been around for 16 years, it's debt-free, it's growing and expanding, it's very dynamic, that's a much better shot than the brand new company that's just starting and looks great when it's out the gate. But the truth is 99% of them don't even see their 5th year. And 95% of them don't even see their 1st year to the end. So you want to be in a very solid, stable company. Lifewave's in 100 countries. It's amazing.
No, I'm with you. I think it is really important to get to know the company, who started the company, and to be plugged into the family, as I like to call our Lifewave family. I think that's really important. Coming on calls like this is a great place to kind of get a feel for the company, joining our Facebook groups and things of that nature, connecting with leaders like yourself, Kai. I think you're so spot on there. To your point, you can watch videos of David through our YouTube channel, and you can really just sense that there's a heart and love there for mankind, for humankind, and really an intention to do good in this world. And it's special to be part of a company that not only has that, but has, to your point, the stability that's been around. And I love that Lifewave is debt free. I think that's a huge deal personally for me. I love that. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, should we talk about pillar 3, Kai?
Let's go to pillar 3.
Okay.
So, and by the way, each one of these pillars are really important. So get your belief level up to a 3. Up to a 3, up to a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's pillar 3. And it's just really critical that you get this foundation together so that when you start building your business, everything really sticks to the wall and you're unstoppable because you've got your belief level to that level. So the third level is about the industry. And this is probably the most difficult one for most people, Emily, because we've all heard that thing. Is this one of those pyramid schemes? Is this one of those Ponzi money games or things like that? People associate multi-level marketing or direct marketing sometimes with that. And the thing that's kind of that you have to look at and think about is that those are true. There are those things going on, but that's not who we are. That's not what we are. And so you have to educate yourself. And so one of my favorite things to do is to read good books. And one of my favorite authors is Richard Bliss Brooke. You might want to write this down, Richard Bliss Brooke. And he wrote 2 great books. One's called Mach 2 with My Hair on Fire. That's Mach 2 with My Hair on Fire. And one of my other ones that he's written that's my favorite actually is The 4-Year Career. And both those are great books. And one of the neat things is you can get those for free. Right now, right after this call, you can go on to a site called Audible. I think most people even know about Audible. I believe it's part of Amazon actually. And they have this thing where you can get a book for free, to try out the system. So why not get one of these? So just do their free trial and pick up Mach 2 with My Hair on Fire from Richard Bliss Brooke, and it'll be read to you. It'll only take about 2 hours. It's a very short book. It's not like a big, thick book. It's a very thin book. And by the time you finish hearing that book, you're going to be at a 10 level about network marketing. You're going to not be able to hold back your energy and feel inspired. And one of the things that makes it so much not one of these money games or the illegal pyramids, it's very simple. And what I usually teach about it is those don't have a product. They do not have a product or a credible service. And Lifewave has an amazing product that we actually ship, and it's a life-changing product. So that makes us not a money game or a pyramid. It's a legal business. Network marketing's billions of dollars, and there's many, many companies that are great companies with good products. They just have leverage pay plans, and that's exciting. Having a leverage pay plan where you can make a lot more money by building a team than just by your own personal direct sales is what's so powerful. It's when it gets turned into a money game or one of those illegal pyramids, very easy to find the difference. And the difference is they don't have any products. They don't have any service that they order. They're just a manipulation of money. And that's not what we are at all. So when you get your belief level to a 10, that's by understanding where we fit into that spectrum, Emily.
Oh, I love that. I always talk about being just a big, huge fan of personal development, and I love reading as well. And I think that's one of the most special things about network marketing is there's this focus on this encouragement to develop self as part of building the skills to be an effective leader. And to your point, as you work to help others to be more successful and you learn about leadership and how to really inspire people to their own success, you grow as an individual. And it's really beautiful. This industry is so special in so many ways, but I have to say that's probably one of my most favorite things about it. So thanks for the recommendations on the books. I personally love The 4-Year Career. I also highly recommend it. So great suggestions there.
And there are other good books, Emily. And talk to your upline, talk to your sponsor, see their favorite books. There's many. Those happen to be mine, but there are other great books to get to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you for the recommendations. And yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, throw it in the chat, because honestly, we're all looking for great recommendations. I don't know about you, Kai. I believe this is probably true, but I know many of us spend a lot of our mornings as we get ready listening to Audible or listening to podcasts and sharing what we've learned with the people around us. So I'd love to hear your suggestions, guys. So throw it in the chat. I think it'll be good.
One thing I want to say a little bit more about that, Emily, is handling objections. And when you have your belief level at a 10, on this, like about the product, you're unstoppable because your belief levels. And people are going to always say, I don't know if the product works, or is this one of those money games? And the way I handle, or is this one of those pyramids? The way I handle that objection is to get my belief through my own education and direct contact up to that high level. That's kind of unstoppable to start with. But then the way I deal with that question is I go, I'm so glad you said that. And they don't know what to do with that. When you say, I'm so glad you said that, or that's fantastic. They say, is this one of those pyramid schemes? And I go, that's fantastic that you asked that question. I'm so glad you did. I think that's why we're having this conversation. And they don't know what to do with that. And the key is that you stop there. You don't say anything. Then they're going to say, well, what do you mean? Because they expected you to, put up a resistance and saying, oh, it's not really that. Because the 4 objections that people have is it's too expensive, it doesn't work, it's one of those pyramid schemes, or I don't have the time. And you can use that way of handling all those objections the same, like, I'm so glad you said that. That's why we're having the conversation. If you don't have enough time, then maybe something's not working. Let's talk about creating income from a way that's leveraged so that you create time. Or you don't have enough money, I'm so glad you brought that up, because this is actually a way to make money. Or if it's one of those pyramids, I go, absolutely, it is. It is a pyramid, but it's a good pyramid. It's a legal pyramid. It's leveraged income, and everything is a pyramid, like in the sense that, like, the government has a president and then governors and senators, and it all goes down like that. A company has the CEO and then the head managers and so forth. Or even religion, you have the Pope and then the cardinals. That's the natural thing of life, is to create a diamond, a triangle. And what's different about ours is that everyone who's above you is reaching down going, how can I help you get up higher? How can I help you? So we're a cooperative, we're a collaborative pyramid, as opposed to one where you better stay where you are because I make more money because you stay where you are. And that's how most of the other structures are in the world. So we are, but we're a healthy one. That's the difference. And so
I love
like
that.
bringing that objection and handling it that way.
No, I love that. I think that's such a good way to look at it, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. That's why we're having so much success, because that's not how it works for us here. I think that's so genius. I love that. Just turning it around, right? Turning it around to a positive and focusing on the benefits that we bring or the good things. I love that. That's perfect. Because sometimes I think it can be a little bit scary when people are new and they're starting to kind of share and they're starting to talk about their stories, like you mentioned. It's like a little overwhelming, especially when some of those objections come up. But I think what you're recommending here is great, to acknowledge it, but show that we are different. I think that's really awesome, actually.
And that's when you have your 5 pillars of authenticity in place, and you've educated yourself and took the time to really get all those pieces in place first.
I love that. You said something a little bit earlier that I also thought was just so spot on. As you build your belief to a 10, you were saying, right? I mean, when someone's confident, when someone is so sure in what they're talking about, it's hard for others to not be attracted to it and to not understand that what you're sharing is true. Because when you truly believe something in your heart, someone can't take that away from you. They can't. So I think you're really wise in saying that we build this foundation and these pillars, and you get them up to a 10 in each area. And then you're just going to be confident and be able to share without too much worry and without too much fear. And that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, should we talk about the next pillar? We keep talking about this awesome foundation. I can't wait to get to the 5th one, where I think we're on number 4, right?
We're on number 4. And it's the compensation plan. It's the compensation plan. So this is how you get paid. This is your blueprint for how you get paid. It's quite simple, and it's really important to learn how that works. And so what I recommend is you study the pay plan. So many people say, well, I'm overwhelmed, I can't think about it. But we all went to school when we were in high school, and It's about 2 hours of putting your attention to it. It's not like this crazy hard thing. So I recommend there's some good videos that some distributors have put together, and, watch a few of those videos and write down your questions, write them down, kind of do it like it's like you're sincere about it or you're serious about it, and, put a couple hours into learning the pay plan. And then just read the one on the company website. And once you've done that, then go back and look at it again with your questions that you didn't understand and start to try to figure it out. It's the working of your own minds where you're really going to learn. If someone just tells it to you, it's going to go in and out and it's not going to stick. So take some time to do that. And, once you really study our pay plan and you see the power of it, and you put a few hours into really understanding it, and then maybe asking your upline a little bit some questions, or your sponsor, once you put your time into it, and then, once you really get it and you really understand how powerful it is, it's creating leverage in the marketplace. And you can make a small amount of money from a lot of people as you build your team. And as your team gets bigger and bigger, it's way more than you can do yourself. If it's just your own personal sales, you kind of top out at a certain level. But if you start having a team, in my case, I have, over 100,000 people, actually 150,000 people all over the world building their own business, but I get a little bit of an override on it from the pay plan. And it's important to understand how that roadmap works. And it becomes a crazy amount of income for a livelihood. It's way beyond what most professionals do that spend 4 to 8 years going to college to get their profession. So the pay plan is really the key to understanding that. So you really want to get your belief level that you're going to get paid in a really powerful way, so that when someone challenges you in that level, you really understand enough so that you can feel inspired, like you're in the right place at the right time.
I love that. Talk to me a little bit about the pay plan. So when somebody's brand new, they should study up on it. And I think, to your point, come back to it with time. I think sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming to a new person that's brand new to this business. And so do you recommend breaking it down in any way, or focusing on anything specifically in the beginning? Or really just studying all components of it? What is your
components of it? I like some of the videos. There's some good videos that people have done. I recommend that you watch a couple of those, and a couple times, writing your questions down and then seeing if they're answered the next time that you watch it, so that it's just investing a couple hours really into it. It's really not rocket science, and you will learn a lot as you live and start building, as you start living. And once you feel, this is an area that sometimes takes a little longer to get up to that 10 level, but you want to get it up to an 8 level before you really start trying to build, so that maybe you're not quite all the way there, but you're excited enough and you see the power of it. And yeah, that's about all I can really share about that. It is a great pay plan. I write pay plans for companies. I've been hired to write pay plans for companies. And this is a great pay plan. We have a hybrid. It's a binary, and you can get paid infinitely down into your network. And so many companies cut you off at about 10 or 15 levels. This kind of pay plan can pay infinitely down, but you can get paid a lot from your own personal direct efforts by the what I call the unilevel part of the pay plan, which is the matching bonuses. And so we have a really neat hybrid pay plan that pays us in multiple ways. And if you want to just be doing direct sales, you can do great with our customer program. It's incredible. So, it takes a little time to learn it. You don't have to be an expert at it. What's important is that you believe in it, that you believe that we have something. So you don't have to know all the details. You just have to be at a 10 level of like, I'm in the right place at the right time again.
No, I appreciate that you said that, because I think for some people, comp plans can be really complicated. Like you shared, you write these, so you understand the nuances of the plans and how they work. And so I think for some it can be a bit challenging, but I really like what you just said. It's really building the belief in the fact that this plan can take you where you want to go, and these are the avenues you need to follow to get there. And I think it's always wise to lean on your sponsor or the person that's brought you into the business, because they can help you if you have questions. Or to your point, there's so many great YouTube videos out there that explain the plan, so you can really start to understand the power of what it can do for you long term.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, comp plan, love it. Should we talk about the next pillar?
Yeah, the last pillar is about your team. It's your team and the support and the tools that are available for you. And so part of that's the company, again, the tools and the support, but the team, like the person that sponsored you and your upline people that you're working with. And there are so many great teams in Lifewave. I mean, Gregory and Robin Mascari, they do so much support for their team. They have these conference calls and getting started guides, and it's just amazing how much they help people. And there's so many great tools out there. Like one of my favorite people that spoke just a few weeks ago was Onyx Cole. And she, by the way, I agree with everything that she talked on it. I mean, she really nailed it about the action steps that you need to do and the core piece, which we're going to go into. And I have my own little slant, but it's very similar. And, and she had some great tools for helping people with sampling program. Another person that's created, one of the leaders is Ron Ledford. He's created a great sampling program with this great flyer that you can order from him, try to talk to people and get connected to him. And he's got these great flyers that you can hand to people or with sampling programs to help build your business. So you want to start feeling the teams, and some of these people share them outside of their teams, like Ron does that, and Gregory lets people get on his calls. And so there's so many support teams that you can plug into, even if it's not your direct line of sponsorship. Jason does great trainings and team calls too. So there's so many people and leaders that are amazing in the company. So get connected to your team and get involved in some of the calls and start feeling like I'm working with a great group of people. Jason Borrego, I'm sorry, I didn't think of his last name at that moment. Anyway, he does wonderful training and supports. And there's so many, and internationally, I don't know all the leaders in Japan and other countries, but there's great team leaders. So you want to be feeling really good about the group you're working with. And that's important to be at a 10 level of belief too.
I'm with you. I think there's a lot of power in connecting, like we were talking about earlier with the Lifewave family. And to your point, there's so many different teams, different styles. You always should really focus with the person that brought you into the business, right? But you can still connect with people that you can maybe feel really a sense of just, kinship with, right? And like you understand the way they speak and their style really resonates with you. And I think that's the most exciting thing about Lifewave is I think that many teams are so open to helping. They just want you to feel a part of it. And as we continue to build our Facebook groups and our communities here, we have more of these Lifewave Connect type calls. There's so many places where everyone can join in and get training and be a part of something so they can build their belief to attend. Like you said, I'm really grateful we have such great leaders and teams here too.
So Emily, like an overview of these 5 pillars is the key is that you have to do whatever it takes to get to at least an 8. Preferably a 10 on all 5 of those pillars. And the sad part about it is if one of them isn't up to par, if one of them is like you're only at a 5 or a 4, your whole energy will drop through that hole. It just does. So you have to kind of get them all up. You do. And once you're firing on all 5 cylinders, you're unstoppable. You are unstoppable. So that's where the work is. So it's really working on yourself. That's what I love about this. It's so easy because you're really working on yourself, getting your belief level in those 5 key areas. And that's 90% of the work that will drive you to your success in your business once you get that done.
I think that's really awesome because to your point, if you don't have that solid foundation, if you don't have that belief, when you have those harder times, or maybe you're facing a lot of objections, and things aren't always going to be simple, or I should say easy. It's simple, but not always easy, right? To stay committed. I think that can sometimes be that strength from within, having that support. At the beginning of the presentation here tonight, you talked a little bit about the 2 steps. So I think having a belief is awesome, but what do we do with that? What's the next step?
Okay, well, I'm so glad you asked that, Emily. Step 2 is taking action and creating goals. So it's setting your goals and taking action. So this is where you put your beliefs in motion. And it's a very easy business to do, but it's very hard to actually do it. It's the easiest business. So setting goals. I'd like to tell a short story from Tony Robbins, if I could. He's one of my favorite teachers. And let's see if I can say it really short. He made an analogy of setting goals to like an airplane taking off and going to Paris. And I like that. It's kind of like building your business is like that. And he said there are 3 elements that you need to look at. And the first one is you have to set a goal. You have your goal in this case where the airplane is going to Paris. And if you don't know where Paris is, how are you going to get there? If you take off and you're looking, you're up in the sky, it's a pretty big sky out there, and you start flying, well, I think it's a little to the right, you're probably never going to get to Paris, right? You kind of have to know what Paris is. The second one he says is those planes are really heavy. I don't know if you've looked at those jets and things, try to pick one up. I went down, tried to pick one up once. It's pretty hard. They weigh tons, many thousands of tons probably. And it takes a lot of energy to get off the ground. So Tony's analogy was, it takes a lot of effort to get a network marketing business off the ground, more than a regular job where you just show up, but you don't get much of a raise. You kind of stay at the same level forever. Where ours, you have all these people who have been in it for a while trying to reach down and help you, and you can really rise really quickly. But it takes a lot of effort to get off the ground. And most people don't know that, but with a plane, 70% of the fuel, 70 to 75% of the fuel is used up in the first 10 minutes when you take off. So when you're going to Paris, it might take 8 hours to fly there, but you use 70 to 75% of the fuel in the first 10 minutes to get that heavy thing off the ground. And then it takes way smaller amount of fuel for the next 6 to 8 hours to get there. Most people don't know that. I think that's pretty interesting. And then the third one is that you're always off course. Even though you know where you're going, the wind is blowing, the weight of the plane is falling, and the computer always is adjusting. And he says that you have to have that witness when you start building your business. He calls it mental acuity, the analogy. So you're always off course. So you're going to make lots of mistakes. That's the key. You're going to make lots of mistakes. It's going to go off course. But watch what works and what doesn't, and then you keep adjusting. You keep adjusting your tail, your wings, and you will get to Paris because you know where you're heading. And so I love that analogy of an airplane. You have to know where you're going. It's going to take a lot of energy to get it going. It's true. And it's always going to be off course. So you're always adjusting what you're doing to get better and better at what you do.
That's a really great story. I think it's true. It's so important that we know where we're going, but that we're willing to make those shifts and those changes along the way, because the situation changes, to your point, like the wind blows a little bit differently or whatever. There's going to be something that comes up that changes the environment that you're in, or you'll learn something new, or you run into a challenge of some kind. I think that's critical. Sometimes people say, oh, this is my plan, I'm sticking with it, I'm not going to do anything differently. And I think that can be detrimental sometimes. I love that story. I've not heard that one before.
So with our goals, Emily, they're really simple. They're so simple. I use the pay plan, like getting to manager, getting to director, senior director. So you want to set with your sponsor, or maybe one of the more active upline people. If you don't have a very active sponsor, you want to set a little agreement and kind of say, I want to reach this point at this time. And then they'll tell you if that's realistic. You might say, yeah, I want to get to senior director within 3 days. That's probably not going to happen. Or, and I think I'll put an hour a day into it, something like that. So it's important to kind of bounce off the people that you're working with in your team so that you can set realistic goals, which is reaching these steps that we already have built into the pay plan. And then again, what Onyx said, I totally agree with Onyx. At the core goal level, besides the ranks, is what your action steps are for the day, what you're willing to do. And for me, just like her, it's talking to 3 new people a day. It's really, that's at the core level of having 3 conversations where you're inviting 3 new people. And that can happen any way you want, Emily. I mean, it could happen like if you live in New York City, you could throw, I think I said when we were warming up a little bit, you could throw water balloons out the window and hit people down on the street below. I don't think that's going to work very well, but you could. And they'll probably look up and say, what are you doing? And they're random people. So I like inviting, people in a more friendly way. And there's ways you can do it. I have Peter Redekop, who I work with a lot right now lately, who loves to meet belly to belly with people. It's a little harder with COVID-19, but he's down in Mexico right now. And I guess there's people down there, and he's meeting 3 people every day that he's inviting to take a look at the videos. He's patching them. If you're meeting them in person, you can patch them. Once the COVID thing passes, it's going to be, very easy for people to meet people. And he just shares his excitement because he's a 10 on all those 5 pillars. He can't stop himself. Now, people can do it with their warm market. I like the warm market, where I just called everybody up and said, I just found, and this is my sentence I like saying, I just found an incredible breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. Would you like to watch a short video, 3-minute video on it? That's it. And you can use the WhatsApp tool. It's incredible to follow up and see what's going on. There are some websites where you can direct people to see it, even your own Lifewave website. You can do that. But you want to invite people to take a look at a video. If it's about the business, the 6-minute video. If it's about the product, the 3-minute video. They're amazing. Jim Caldwell did an incredible job. One of our trainers and leaders in our company. He's amazing. And those videos he put together were amazing. And the WhatsApp is a great way to manage your business. So all the goal that you really need to do is to talk to and invite 3 new people a day to take a look at this and follow up with all the ones in the hopper. That's it. It's that simple. And you can do that by many ways with your warm market, and then diving down, I call it drilling down into your team. Once they get going, they have a warm market, and you can drill in and be available for 3 ways. Those are talking to new people a day when they start bringing you 3 ways. Eventually, you'll have a big enough team where you'll get 6 or 7 3 ways every day of new people you're talking to without even knocking on doors. But you have to get the team first. So in the beginning, you have to knock on a lot of doors. And if you don't have a big warm market that you feel comfortable doing, use Yelp. Emily, you can use Yelp. It's a great system. You can type into Yelp zip codes. So go to a zip code site and get all the zip codes of all the main cities. You can go to different countries with zip codes too. And you can type in different categories like massage therapists, personal trainers, yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, polo teams. Our products work great with animals, ski teams, ski clubs, whatever you want. And you're going to see a directory. You put Chicago, you put New York, the zip code, or, many parts in California, there's so many zip codes, and you put any of these categories, and you're going to get pictures of people. You're going to see a little picture in a bio of that person. You call them up and you say, I love what I see I'm on your site right now on Yelp. I love what you do. You look like a great personal trainer. And then you just be quiet. You don't say anything. And they're going to always say back to you, well, thank you for being on my ad. Do you see how I just turned it around, by the way, made it a friendly call? And they're going to talk about, yeah, I like I'm a specialist in weights or whatever, let's say, or they're yoga teacher. I do a certain type of yoga, whatever it is. And you just listen. And then I say my $1 million question. I go, I love what you're saying. And I'm the reason I'm calling you today. It's a business to business call. The reason I'm calling you today is that I'm looking for yoga teachers in the Chicago area to work with this new breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. Would you be interested in learning about a product that you could make some extra money, especially during this COVID time, with your clients that you have in place? And the beauty of this system is that they have networks already in place. And they have enough money on their credit card usually to be able to buy product. And they have people to talk to because they're health coaches of some kind, or animal coaches, or, there's so many different little niche markets you can pick. And what I just shared is a way to get literally 1 million leads for free of people with credit cards enough to buy their product, and a network in place that will listen to them if they decide they like it. And all you have to do is invite at least 3 people a day to take a look. And that's how you can build your business and not spend any money on leads or anything. And you can do it through your warm market, people you meet, or just use Yelp.
That is so interesting. I think a lot of times many people say, oh, well, I don't know who to talk to. How can I talk to 3 people a day? Or, oh, I've already talked to all my friends and family. But you gave some really great tangible ideas of how we can keep meeting people, keep talking about it. And also, I love what you're saying with Yelp. You can pick the kind of people you want to work with. How cool. I mean, that's genius. And I think it's to your point. It's just being consistent with the contact in the 3 a day and following up, right? Would you say that's the key?
It's the key. And Emily, the most amazing thing about this is if you do that for 1 year and you're consistent of talking and inviting 3 new people to take a look and following up with those people, that's where a lot of your time is going to eventually be, is the follow-up. But following up with everyone who's in the process, I call them in the hopper or in your, in your pipeline, I guess is another way to say it. If you do that and you do it for 6 days a week, take Sunday off, and you do this and you do it for a year, you're going to have a full-time livelihood out of this. You really will. If you do it for 2 years, you're going to have a very good full-time livelihood. And if you do it for 3 or 4 years and you're consistent with this and teach your people to do this, you'll have an amazing income. I mean, the kind of thing that most professionals who make great money would be envious of, because not only are you making an incredible income if you really are consistent and do this, you get a lot of freedom at that point. At that point, you can start not working full-time, but working half-time and just keeping it all going and supporting people part-time. And you can do it from anywhere in the world and live anywhere you want. And when you graduate from what I call the college of hard knocks, because it is a little bit getting out there and having to do stuff that's a little uncomfortable at first, but it becomes kind of your friend and very easy. You have a life that you can live anywhere you want. You've helped a lot of people with a product that's life-changing and a business that's making them extra money and helping them, and you're empowering them. It's an amazing thing that you've done and created a lot of goodness in the world. And being in a company that's going to be around for a long time, that's where you want to build it. That's why I chose Lifewave.
Well, Kai, I just really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us here today. We know that you've been successful in building not just one, but multiple businesses. And I love that you said this, that you picked Lifewave because you know Lifewave will be here for a long time. And that's like that pillar, right? It's that pillar. Was it pillar number 2, the company?
The company's number 2, and the owner. I really trust David. I know David on a personal level to be a genuinely good person, very fair, very deep thinking about his fairness, and he really cares. And getting a leader like that is really rare. It's really rare, and it's very special.
It is special. It is special to have someone that cares so much and has integrity and kindness, and also that's a genius and has developed this amazing technology that's helping so many people. What a great combo. We almost hit the jackpot here, right?
We did.
Yeah, we absolutely did. Well, Kai, thank you so much for sharing your 5 pillars. That is really, I think, such an important piece for all of us to understand, is setting that foundation. Getting up to a 10, as Kai likes to say, is pretty critical. And then having those goals with action. Kai, we just can't thank you enough for being here with us today. We're out of time, so we've got to end our call tonight. But thank you all for being a part of the call today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the company, for tuning in, for really just showing up. And we look forward to seeing you on our next call. Thanks again, Kai. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Emily.
Bye-bye now.